station? People always kill us from the gas station. Oh, we're trying to kill us from the west. The gas station? Yeah, it sounds like the car rolling around to the south. They're heading to the middle. Yeah, well, they're on the south.
Alright, so before starting, just wanted to make a note of the EGR lines here before I start taking them apart. I'm trying to get better access to the heater core tubing hardware so that I can free it of the hoses. Alright guys, so I've successfully freed the heater core hoses from the piping there. As you can see, both of those guys are free, undamaged, thankfully. Really happy about successfully getting the heater core hoses off of the piping. I got a good tip from AE86 SR5 to GTS conversions channel on just using flatheads and kind of prying them in there, and also using WD-40, because the rubber kind of sets and bonds to the copper, I think it's copper piping after so many years, and so it's really important to separate that before you go yanking on the hoses or anything, because the heater core piping is really kind of fragile. So we're back inside the car here. Got this aluminum foil off of here, and I just want to kind of make a note of where everything's going. So on the HVAC control panel here, this kind of clear white cable actuator thing is actually going above the bar here on the steering column support, and then over here this is connected to, I think, the blower motor, flappy metal thing, and it looks like this blue actuator wire goes to the heater core valve, and this black one here is going to go to the flappy door of the actual heater core box. So I think that's all I really need to note before I remove this guy right here and get it better access. I checked on the other side already of the driver's side footwell. It looks like there's only one bolt that I need to get to over there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to remove this this carpet and shifter bezel to get down into this the vents that go out the back, but I guess we'll kind of see. Otherwise, it looks like this piece here in the front needs to be removed first before I can actually get to the heater core box here and pull all that out. Okay, so I just got this far, and it looks like there's also a black actuator wire here that connects to another hinge on the left side, and that controls the locations of the air here. So I just got the box out here after a bit of struggling, and I just wanted to take the time to make a note of which kind of foams I'm going to be using to replace these guys here before I start cleaning and removing all of the old adhesive. So since I didn't film anything, when it's in the car, it's actually behind the HVAC control panel, just like this, and this piece is actually connects right here to the square opening underneath. And then when you remove this, there are, I think, 4 bolts were around, and it kind of wedges down and to the right side when removing. The only hard part really was that I didn't remove any of the lower vents that kind of go along the transmission tunnel and underneath the driver's seat. So I just kind of bent the plastic enough in order to pull back, and once the heater core piping was clear of the firewall, I just screwed it over to the right. So that's really it. Now we'll go ahead and note for later reference so I can remember what kind of foams I'm going to use. So these look pretty thick, and they actually connect up, I believe, to the two center vents. So this one I'm going to do thick for sure. The side one here, I'm also going to do thick. I don't know, I think it went to maybe the driver's side footwell, but this looks like it starts off thick over here, and it'll compress down, so that should be fine. And this foam here was really thin, or whatever's left of it. So I think since it goes up against here and secures, did it secure? Let's see here. So it has one bolt went there, or one screw rather, and then one went here, I think over here. Yeah. So I should be able to get away with this large size foam that I used last time on the blower motor box, because this stuff does compress down, so it should provide a really good seal. Yeah, so I guess this piece I'll use large on everything, and then moving to this, the actual vent control that determines where the air goes. Up here, large for sure. In here, I don't know how the heck I'm actually gonna clean in here, aside from just maybe just trying to do some dust removal. Over here, it looks like there's no foam besides the ones on these metal panels, and I'm not quite sure what size I'm going to use on that yet because it's like super deteriorated, but probably at least the medium. This is just to the passenger side footwell here, and that's it in terms of the foam, I think. And yeah, so now I'll just start getting ready to tear this thing down. Alright guys, so I'm kind of mid-tear down here, and I just wanted to make a note that of the two metal flappy doors that I got out of this box, this one has a notch in it that is kind of along the plane of the panel going this way, and then this one's notch is more perpendicular, so it's notched kind of this way. So that's the bottom one here. So just wanted to make a mental note so I don't forget. And as you can see, there is a leak here that I also saw inside of the car, coolant leak, and it ran along the transmission tunnel, and I found the supposed spot here. Kind of used an acid wash spray bottle to kind of expose as much of the area as I could, and I'm gonna try to plug it up, as you can see here, with solder. So it seems to have worked. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a fix or not. I filled this heater core up with water already, just in an attempt to test it out, and it seems to not be leaking the water, at least. So I'll have to see. I looked up to the melting point of solder, and as long as the water going through isn't more than I think it's around 200 degrees or something, then the solder melts higher than that, so it should hold. But we'll see. If it continues to leak, there's not really anything I can do about it besides look for another heater core, and I don't really have time for that. Not that this project is going fast or anything, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I think I haven't filmed in a bit, but I'm just at the part now where I've brake cleaned, I guess, and sanded these metal flappy doors here. There are two that actually separate the heat. They divert the heat, and so I sanded or brake cleaned first, sanded it all down. Now it's ready for some epoxy primer and a little coat of this metallic paint here. And I'm just taping off these, I guess these pivot points here, just so that it doesn't kind of hinder the smoothness of the hinge there. And then these guys here were just acid treated, and I'm gonna prime and paint these as well, because they are like the first thing to rust on the outside of the AC boxes. So here is how the parts turned out, guys. Not too bad. Just got everything primered and painted, and this paint, I don't know if you can see it, but I really like a lot. It's Rust-Oleum metallic, and the color is metallic matte nickel. I use this on my other metal parts so far too, in this AC restoration, and it just gives a really natural metal look. So yeah, big fan of that if you want to try to reproduce this finish here. Alright guys, so this is where I am at right now. I just put some foam padding onto these metal cages that have felt on the bottom, and these are actually what wrap around the outside of this directional changing wheel that changes, you know, where the airflow goes to, which vents. And so just refinish this one. The felt inside, I'm just gonna leave the same, because I think it's when I was doing it earlier, it was still giving a good amount of smoothness, I guess. And the foam is just to seal, you know, the air, of course. So that was all messed up. As you can see here, we have more of our nasty breadcrumb foam. So I'm just gonna finish doing this other metal cage now, and then that'll be everything restored on this guy, and I'll go ahead and put it together.